Big move in Bitcoin then, in contrast to all the notes I wrote pre-show, which were telling me that this was going to put Bitcoin under pressure.
The narrative that perhaps this launch of these political meme coins will sap flows from Bitcoin is showing us that it's really not the case this morning. If anything, it's just accelerated the momentum and the excitement around cryptocurrency under another Trump administration.
Hi, 𝗬𝗍𝗿. What is all this FOMO about? Should I buy Bitcoin now?
Are you smoking your socks? You should rather watch my show. You should rather watch my show.
All right, legends, welcome to another live stream. What is happening with the price of Bitcoin? Got the bounce at the 0.786. This was a trading scenario highlighted this morning with our Legends Pro community. Okay, I will talk about the trading scenarios that we highlighted in the zone. It got very choppy, very confusing. And right, but I did tell the pro members, if you were in the live stream, because for some reason I recorded the live stream and I forgot to switch on my mic, so you know I didn't have time to do another update, but I did post the screenshot that I was looking for an SFP from the low, which we got, which I entered, and right, and then I saw the SFP, okay, and I took profits over there when I saw the weakness. I didn't take profits exactly there, but when I saw the weakness over there, that's where I took profits and I closed my position. Because this morning with our Legends Pro community update, I did tell everyone I actually want the 786 to be tapped, right? I want the 786 to be tapped. Yeah, you know, we could get the front run, the SFP, which we got. We claimed the highs. Okay, but I want the 786 to be tapped because once you tap the 786, you have a higher chance of finding upwards momentum and coming to claim these highs over here, right? So that is the trade that I'm looking for. Right. And now it looks like we're currently getting the bounce here to the upside. I see there's a couple of altcoins that have taken the lows. ETH has taken the low again. It tapped the $2,000 area. I saw Mr. SGS excuse me, spoke about the level here as well. I'll say hi to the beautiful community in a moment. Ooh, are we gonna at least get a little bit of a relief rally here to the upside? Okay, we have claimed the lows again, right? We are currently trading above the lows here on ETH. We've claimed the local bottom there as well. You know, is this the chance where we could see a little bit of a relief rally? I'm not calling for ETH to come and claim the high, by no means, no stretch of the imagination. When you hit resistance, if you are inside of a trade here, you need to pay yourself. That is resistance right over there. Okay, you also have the underbelly resistance. Anyways, legends, this is ETH, right? I was looking at HBAR, I was looking at dominance, I was looking at ADA. ADA is at a very interesting place, by the way. And right, let's analyze the price of Bitcoin. I want to know from the Legends Pro community, especially if you were in the live stream, because I did speak about the 786. Okay, that was the zone to get into. It left a beautiful wick behind, and it did a nice little bullish retest. If you zoom in here onto the smaller time frames, these are the retracements that you like to see. Okay, when you take a fib from the low to the high, if you missed the SFP, okay, you did not get in at the 786, there was a nice little 0.618 tap where you put your stop loss below the low and you are at least targeting the highs for profit taking areas. Okay, now it looks like Bitcoin wants to continue. I just want to see if there's a sign of weakness at the moment. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Okay, but I don't want to say anything right now, but it looks like it can still continue potentially here to the upside. Right, the question is, are we going to form a 5-wave structure? If you've been following me here on the stream for a while, you know how important 5-wave structures are, because if you don't get a 5-wave structure and we create a 3-wave structure here to the upside, you could come and take the low again. So very important for Bitcoin to form a 5-wave structure, a double lightning bolt, okay? A double lightning bolt, not a single lightning bolt. If you see that, danger, Mr. Robinson. Okay, if you see that, good, right? Well, depending on whether you're shorting or longing, right? If you see this to the downside, momentum is most probably going to continue. If you see this to the upside, that is a corrective structure, and vice versa. Right, legends. So now 786 got tapped. We got acceptance back above all of these lows over here. Acceptance back above the low, back above the low. So for now, it looks like the bulls could step in over here and give us a small little bit of a relief rally. This was the longing setup that I was watching and highlighted to the Legends Pro community this morning. Okay, and there's actually 2 of them that played out. It wasn't, I have to agree, okay, it was not easy, because this was the one trading setup, okay, that I highlighted. And I mean, it's not always as clear and simple. I wanted a swing failure pattern, okay. Trading setup number 1 was a swing failure pattern from the low. And then we got it. We moved up, and if you had your stop loss glued to the low, you would have been stopped out. But then we got the acceptance back above. This is the one that I entered. I was not in front of the charts when that happened. But then I saw the second week. Okay, let me just take the magnet off here. Let me know if you guys can see my screen. You can hear me properly. Put the music ever so slightly softer there in the background. Okay, cool. Looks good, right? Nice little pump here to the upside on very low volume. Must say, very low volume with this pump here to the upside, but nonetheless, we're getting the relief rally at the moment. Okay, and then this is where I got in, right over there. I actually took the trade on ETH as well. I didn't just trade Bitcoin. This was a small little trade, very low leverage, very small position that I played over here. And then I saw the swing failure pattern from the highs. Okay, I saw that. And then when price started tumbling back down over here, I got out. I was like, I don't like it, right? I should have actually shorted this level while I was busy there on Ethereum, because on ETH, ETH was actually a little bit more aggressive here to the upside, okay? And I can't remember exactly what played out or transpired over here, but also there was a Fibonacci level from the low to the high, okay? We tapped the 0.618 over there when Bitcoin, okay, that's where I entered at the 618. I had my stop loss below the low, and then when I saw the weakness on Bitcoin, this is where I closed my ETH position as well. So I took 2 trades, right? One on ETH, one on Bitcoin, closed my positions and have some little profits in the bag, but I did not re-enter. Damn it, I did not re-enter the swing failure pattern, because that is an amazing trade, and that is also where Bitcoin hit the 0.786, came back for a nice little 618 retracement over there, and now currently it looks like it's gunning for the highs. It's gunning for it. Right, so, but I do know that some of the Legends Pro community got into this trade because they know, you know, how to watch the levels, the swing failure patterns, and now the rest is history. We're currently pumping here to the upside. Now the question is this a correction to the upside, or can we find a little bit higher levels at the moment? We will analyze the price of Bitcoin here on the smaller time frame. We'll look at the larger time frame. While price is pumping here to the upside, legends, this is not a zone where I get into a trade. If you have a trading strategy with good risk management to FOMO into a pump, by all means, knock your sock, go smoke your socks, or, you know, exercise your trading strategy, right? This was the level to get in. This was the level to get in, right? And there was even a little break of trend over there. You could have even gotten in over there and put your stop loss below the low, but this is not a trading zone for me, even if price continues to pump over here. Right, I want to see a retracement. I want to see a 5-wave structure, because there is always another trade around the corner. Okay, let me say hi to the beautiful community. Oh, I have some alarms going off here. Why is my ETH alarm going off? We're breaking that little local trend over there, if I'm not mistaken. I have so many trends, and I just want to see if I switch on. Okay, alarms are going off on ETH, but trend lines are not coming up. Maybe there's something wrong with TradingView at the moment. Ooh, legends, let me say hi to the beautiful community, bro. Dewald, you got bots in the chat. Where's the bots? Let's go bot hunting over here. Why lose money when you could take slight profit? Get the back link trade confirmation again, possibly. Okay, it's not that. I'm looking for the bots, guys. I'm going bot hunting over here. Where's the bots? Where are we going? Yesterday pump seems profit. Right, I don't see the bots. I don't see the bots. I do know that we have mods here in the live stream mods. So if you see the bots, you've most probably deleted the bots. Okay, right. I don't see the bots, legends. Okay, cool. If there are bots, I know that the legends in the legends or here in the community will go and take care of them. Right, but let me go and say hi to the beautiful community. We've got Mr. Junior here in the house, mod. Weekly, monthly level psychological number in ETH just got hit. Yes, and now we're getting a nice little bounce here to the upside, right? That 2000 psychological number on Ethereum got hit. Now the question is, was this it? Is it going to get a little bit of a relief rally here to the upside? I must say this looks very impulsive here to the downside. Okay, and you might get a nice little relief rally, but you could also form that lower high and continue the momentum back to the downside. So it's important that if you are in a day trade here on ETH, that you need to pay yourself when you start hitting highs. You need to start paying yourself, because this looks impulsive. This could be corrective, and then it continues here to the downside. Okay, right. There's just nothing to say. As long as we are pumping over here, there's just no trade to be taken. The only trading opportunity that I see is potentially around the corner. Okay, the only trading opportunity is, let me take this fib out. Let us take a Fibonacci from A, B, C. Let's see, from this pivot to the low. Now that level has moved ever so slightly because of this new fresh pivot that we printed. But this morning, it looked juicy there for short at the 0.382. Okay, but nonetheless, legends, these little consolidation areas, they provide nice resistance. And remember, if you are in a long from over here, okay, you have to take profits when you hit resistance, because price could at any moment hit a resistance pocket and turn around and go and stop you out, maybe with no profits in the bag. Okay, or it makes that higher low and then it continues to the next level. You just never know. No one can predict the market. And all we know from a trading perspective is that when you long support, you need to take profits at resistance. That's how you trade, right? I may be stating the obvious over here, but some people don't know or believe that, because a lot of people do enter, they nail the entries, and they just ignore these little resistance areas to the upside, thinking that every time it's the trade. So, you know, you're long at support, you take profits at resistance. It's your decision as a trader whether you should take, whether you close your position at TP1 or whether you leave some of the position open for TP2. Right, so the only short that I see is at resistance. There's no short for me to be taken over here, right? No short. But I do like that little pivot. I do like that little pivot even more so, because it has perfect confluence with the 786. I don't know if we're going to get a bounce that high, right? Because you might be smiling now, just like Dewald is talking about the 786 and I'm in this long over here. Okay, yes, we could get there, but it's not guaranteed, right? This is your first area of resistance. Okay. The level that I like the most is the 50% because it has that consolidation and it has this pivot very close to it. And also this low was very close to the 786, and that's why I want my Fibonacci levels to be tapped. So this to me, 50% Fibonacci level, okay, for me, claiming the highs, getting acceptance back below is a potential shorting opportunity. So let's just talk about the trading setups inside of the local range here on the 5-minute time frame. A little bit further up, the one that I like the most is the 786 together with those two little pivots. Okay, if price, because you could get the rejection, it comes back and now it does an RS flip. Remember, okay, now you're playing the market to the upside and to the downside. So if you are in a long over here, you could make a trading decision to say that I'm going to close my position over there. I'm happy with the trade. But then you can enter a short. And now you fall to the downside and you hit support. What is the rule? I short resistance, I take profits at support. So you could close your position over there. And then maybe it bounces and maybe there's a trend, you play the breakout, okay? Or maybe you enter another long over here and then it continues. What do? You take profits when you hit resistance. And you can enter a short if you get the price action where it SFPs and it gets acceptance back below. So you can long, you can short, you can long, you can short. You can play the market to the up and to the downside. That is how you basically day trade, okay? And that's why I always hammer on that fact that you shouldn't care where Bitcoin is going. You shouldn't even care whether we're in a bull market or in a bear market. You shouldn't care because you're just trading level to level. You just want a structure and you just want volatility. You want the price to move and react at specific levels so that you can enter multiple trades and call it a day. Maybe one trade a day or two trades a day, depending on how much time you have available. Maybe you like the 5-minute time frame. Maybe you like the 15-minute time frame, 1 hour time frame, 4 hour, daily. Maybe you only want to take one trade a month. Okay, so then you will just up the ante and increase the time frames that you used to trade on. Right, so cool, legends. That is basically the scenarios that I see here more locally inside of this structure. Okay, remember, from an Elliott wave perspective, I'm not going to go in too deep into Elliott wave theory here on the smaller time frames, but there is a scenario where you have a 1, 2, and then maybe this was the 3 and the 4 and the 5 and it's done. Or maybe, just maybe, it hasn't done the 5th wave here to the downside and it's going to come down for one more low. That is why the 0.382 and the 50%, this box, okay, is where I pay attention, especially when you see this aggressive movement to the downside. You know, that's without knowing Elliott wave theory, guys. You need to know that when you see a nice impulse to the downside, nice selling pressure kicking in, whether that's to the up or to the downside, okay, you must always take your fib and you must know that if this is, where's my pen, right? As soon as you tap the 0.618, then the momentum to the downside is potentially over. Okay, it's not going to do that. If you tap the 0.618, you're most likely going to make a higher low and continue momentum to the upside. If you reject in the 50% to the 0.382 level, there's a high chance if you reject in this zone that you could come and claim the lows again. Okay, we do have another interesting level to the downside. If we do reject here by the 50% Fibonacci, I do like that pivot over there for potential shorting opportunity. I mean, you could reject by the 0.382. There's a possibility. I just don't see a lot of confluence there at the moment, okay? It does have underbelly resistance. I just like to see a nice little SFP pivot. You know, those little pivots over there? Right, I love to see those pivots and the SFP from the pivots. But I wanted to tap the 50%. If you SFP from those pivots, 50% needs to be tapped. Like I told the legends this morning, I want the 786 to be tapped. Okay, looking at this structure. Yes, I did get into long over there. I closed my position over there. And then the trade that I highlighted this morning, I didn't get into. Anyways, but I still have a nice little day trade in the bag. Okay, this, you know, I wanted to to come here and say, guys, this is the trade that we've spoken about. This is where I entered, and now I'm currently nicely here in the profits, but I was busy with other things. I didn't take that trade, right? But that is the trading scenario that I spoke about this morning. SFP from the 786. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful SFP. And the reason it's so beautiful is because you left that wick behind. It was fast price action. Those are the SFP that you want to get into. Okay, right. Let me go through some comments. Say hi. Dewald said he is not day trading a link. So I'm not day trading as well as a link. Maybe people trading it, but not me. I invested into it and holding, but looks like it's not good idea to long hold. Right, we can go and look at link in a moment. Yes, but I'm not day trading link at the moment. I do 95, 90, even higher, 99% of my day trading I do on Bitcoin. It's very rare that I do a day trade where you get in and you get out in a single day, for example, on another altcoin. I did do one, for example, on Ethereum this morning, or just now, with Bitcoin and ETH, okay? But you will hardly ever find me doing altcoin day trading, right? Unless I'm building up a swing position, which I did do on ETH and AR, and both of them I got stopped out at break even. Right, after multiple attempts, and now it looks like we could be getting a little bit of a relief rally here to the upside. AR left that nice little bullish wick behind. Anyways, it hasn't broken out yet. But ETH, I mean, these double bottoms, these SFP from the double bottoms, I mean, that's a beautiful trade to have gotten into, but I missed it. Now I missed it. Now I'm waiting for price action to give me another opportunity to get back in or to short. Right, but I would rather short Bitcoin over here. BTC is doing W shape. W shape? Is this what you call the W? Right, I've heard people talk about the W, and then it breaks out. I've heard about the W shape, but the W shape is basically a three-wave structure, and then you continue here to the upside. It's all linked to Elliott wave theory. Okay, every single pattern, head and shoulders, bull flags, they are all linked to Elliott waves. If you understand Elliott waves and you've studied Elliott waves, all the patterns make sense. People just call them different things. W, okay? Head and shoulders. Head and shoulders usually occurs at the top of an impulse, or at the bottom from a reversal perspective. The problem why head and shoulders doesn't always play out is because people apply them incorrectly, where, for example, you need to apply them when you've created a fifth wave to the upside and you're starting the corrective structures. That's where you get the head and shoulders pattern. People apply them in the middle of the structure when you're still inside of the middle of a third wave, for example. So it's not that patterns don't work, it's because once you start understanding Elliott wave theory, you know where to apply the pattern, in which wave structure. Okay. Right, cool. Now let's take all these levels here out the way. Something I wanted to discuss today. Price is just pumping here at the moment, legends. There's not much else to discuss. We've got our shorting levels that I've highlighted from the pivots without even using any Fibonacci. Okay, purely looking at price action over here. This is a rejection zone. This is a rejection zone. Okay, and that is a rejection zone if we do get there, right? So purely from a price action perspective, okay, resistance, 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 resistance. Okay, if you want to be brave enough to leave some of the position open for higher levels, be my guest. Right. Okay. Now, what I want to do is go here onto the 4-hour time frame. There's a couple of things that I would like to discuss. And I am most probably going to shock you guys with what I want to discuss over here, because, I mean, the world is bearish, okay? And here goes Dewald again, the only bullish peanut in the packet. But I will position myself in a moment. Right. Let's go and stop me. I wish I knew about Elliott wave theory a year ago. 𝗞𝗔, yes, Elliott wave theory is very powerful. A lot of people diss it. A lot of people say it doesn't work. It's because they didn't put in the time to understand it. They didn't study it. It takes at least 2 years, I would say, to get a good grasp on Elliott wave theory. It's very complex, but it does, once you've grasped it, it really contributes towards any trading strategy that you are applying. So when I play swing failure patterns, usually if I know, okay, we are topping out because we've created 5 waves to the upside or to the downside, then I start looking for swing failure patterns because I know I'm close to the low or I'm close to the high, for example, right? If I can identify that we are in a third wave, then I apply my D-line strategy. That's the bull flags. In your third waves, you get lots of bull flags that just continue to break to the upside because it's a trending wave. It's not a ranging wave, it's a trending wave. This is a third wave, right? This is a third wave. There was bull flag, and you could have gone bull flag crazy over here, and you would not have been stopped out once. So you need to know in which wave you are in order to apply your trading strategy. Okay, when you reach a top, then you can start looking at head and shoulders, and but then you need to start trading the range, because we know that corrective structures can go very choppy and sideways. So depending on what the market offers me, I will sometimes rip out a different trading strategy. I have successfully traded the D-line strategy inside of ranges, but the rules change. Your rules for your strategy needs to adapt to what the market is offering you. I'm way more aggressive with profit taking. 0.618, 0.50% Fibonacci. I usually even start closing the positions, and you just need to adapt to what the market is giving you. But yes, Elliott wave theory is very powerful. I did see, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, I jumped into Andy's live stream just to see what he's doing, and there was someone making a comment to say that Elliott wave theory is BS. I don't agree, because you don't understand it. Right? If you understood Elliott wave theory and you've studied it for 2 years and you have a good grasp on it, and then you say it's BS, I would say, okay, that makes sense, right? Each to their own. Maybe you don't like to trade it, but I do want to highlight that you do not need to know Elliott wave theory to be a successful day trader. Sorry, legends, my mouse is giving me a couple of issues over here. Right, let's get back into it. Hit the like button, yes. How many people have we got here? 257 people, and we only have 61 likes. Wow. Bitcoin is pumping here to the upside, but the like button is extremely bearish. I know that we can do better than that. Right. BTC pumping, 74K cancelled. You know, it never ceases to amaze me. While... All right, now my chart just disappeared. While Andy was in his live stream, okay, I read the comments. And, while price was dumping here to the downside, people were saying $50,000, $60,000. Now we're going to $72,000. And now you're getting this little pump here to the upside. Now people are like, bull market is back. Right, people, do not let the price action play with your emotions, okay? Pick a side, right? I'm a bull and a bear because I trade level to level. I don't care, right? I really don't care from a day trading perspective. But anyways, legends, as per the thumbnail, this is now what I want to discuss. Okay, pumped a like for the education, yes. No alts until 200 likes, exactly. No alts until 200 likes, so we're very far away. Okay, so I'll just carry on here with some Bitcoin analysis. Right, currently getting the pump. I'm not sure, SGS, did you get into this long here at the 786? Let me know. Okay, oh, what a nice pump here to the upside. I missed out, but at least I do have a one-day trade in the bag today. Right, yes. Why not, right? Yes, you got in at the 786. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Now, legends, as per the thumbnail, okay, the world is bearish. The fear, I haven't checked the fear and greed index. Let's check the fear and greed index over here. What is the fear and greed index saying? Okay. Yes, the world is still extreme fear, right? Shop, right? Extreme fear, 15. Okay, that tells me a lot. It tells me everyone is bearish, right? We're going into a bear market. I've seen people making comments to say that we will never see $110,000 again, right? The bear market has started. So one thing I just want to quickly highlight over here. Let's go on to the daily time frame. Okay, and just switch on the very simple indicator which is called the VRVP. And I'm sure you guys have seen this indicator before. What I want to focus on is this little structure. Okay, I just want to focus on, where's my pen? I just want to focus on this little structure over here. Okay, so for the bears, the people that believe that the bull market is over, let's just look at this little structure purely from a VRVP perspective. And what the VRVP shows you is where the most amount of volume was traded. And volume usually gives you great areas of support and resistance. And you usually get a nice reaction at those levels, especially on the larger time frame, like the daily time frame. You can see that here is almost no volume over here, which is, it makes sense. Okay, it makes sense why there's no volume here, because we are inside of price discovery. This is a fresh range outside of where Bitcoin has traded in the past. So it still needs to build up volume in this range. But you can also see maybe, you know, that's why the move here to the downside accelerated, because there's no real volume to support the move here to the downside. Real volume only starts kicking in when you hit these highs. When you start hitting these highs, you can see this is where some serious volume starts kicking in. Okay, then you have the point of control, and all this basically means out of this entire zone that I'm watching over here, this is where the most amount of volume was traded, the point of control. But you know, now what I want to do is very simple technical analysis, just looking at volume, where I want to take a fib from the low to the high. Okay, so I just want to calm the nerves a little bit out there. So legends, from an extremely bearish case perspective, okay, I can tell you guys now, guaranteed, okay, and I never use this word in trading, but I can tell you guys now, guaranteed, if price had to continue to fall here to the downside, it's going to get a bounce. It's going to get it. It's going to get a bounce. I'm not saying that it's going to go and claim the all-time high, but you're going to get a bounce. Okay, maybe it makes a lower high and it tries again to break through, but it's not going to just do this. It's not going to do that. Well, it just, because price moves in waves, everything moves in waves. And when you hit resistance, okay, it takes a couple of attempts to break through. Okay. So we have to acknowledge the fact between the 0.618 and the 786, okay, this zone, 786, I'm not sure if you guys can see it over there, 786, can you see 786? And the 0.618 has the highest amount of volume inside of that zone, okay? So it will offer tremendous support. For a confirmed bear market, this low needs to be claimed. And this looks incredibly, no one can argue that this is an impulsive structure to the upside. There's no one that can argue. Every elitician and even a rookie trader that's only traded for a couple of months will tell you, well, this looks really impulsive here to the upside. Okay. And from you can also imagine, what if this is the 5-minute time frame? Okay. It looks impulsive. It has multiple 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 from an Elliot wave perspective, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, however you want to count it. But let's just say this is the start. This is the end. Okay. And now it's falling here to the downside. This zone is usually where the bullish bounces take place, where you form a higher low. So worst case scenario that I'm playing out over here, and I'm not talking about a bear, we're not going into a bear market yet. I'm saying that there's a lot that needs to happen in this zone, okay, before we can call for a bear market. In actual fact, the harder we fall down here, the more bullish it becomes. And we have already tapped the 50% Fibonacci. Right, so usually when you form, just a little bit of education, okay, when you form a 1, 2, okay, and you take your fib from the low to the high, That little 2 wave over there likes to find support between the 50% and the 786. And then it chops, it chops, it chops, and then it goes and it creates the 3rd wave, and then 4, 5. Okay. So in taking this scenario into consideration, what if we are over here? What if we have now made a 1? We're now busy with a 2 that's making the world extremely bearish. Okay, what if we are over here by the 50% Fibonacci, and maybe we go back up, we make a lower high, we come back down, and then you have that 3-wave corrective structure in a number 2, and then we rock and roll out of here. We cannot write this scenario off. We can't. We have massive support over here that I've just shown you guys here on the daily time frame. Okay, so what if, okay, now I feel like I'm the only bullish peanut in the packet, okay, but purely from a technical perspective, I'm saying it's not over. It ain't over, right? It's only over once you take the low, then it's over. And there's a lot that needs to be contend with over there, right? And for those of you that's been trading for a long time, you know when you hit a high volume node like this, you need to pay attention. You really need to start paying attention. When you have an impulse to the upside and you start falling here to the downside and you hit a volume, significant volume like this, where you had such a long consolidation area, a multi-month not even multi, I mean, this was 8 months, I think. Okay, and you create volume to this magnitude, you need to know that there's a chance, there's a good chance, not guaranteed. Okay, this is not guaranteed, but there's a good chance that this is a 1, this is a 2, and you're going to rock and roll out of here for a 3rd wave. Or an ABC, it doesn't matter, it's the same structure. ABC, 1, 2, 3. Same structure, but you're expecting a bounce when you hit this high volume node. And legends, I'm building up to something, okay? I'm building up to something, because there's something which I have shared, but it's now hitting some very interesting targets, okay? Which is now actually slightly giving this scenario a little bit higher probability. So I'm getting there. I actually want the correction to go down lower. That will actually be more bullish, and I'll explain that in a second. The deeper we go down and we start hitting this volume node will actually be more bullish for the price of Bitcoin. Okay, the fact that we tapped the 0.5 over here still opens up the possibility for another bearish case scenario. If we come down to the 0.618 and the 786, we invalidate one of the bearish case scenarios that I'm looking at. Okay, that is why Elliott wave theory is so powerful, because based on Fibonacci, it invalidates certain scenarios and it gives, it gives me directional bias. Okay. And I can't help but wonder, why did the market makers stop the price over there? Because they wanted to confuse technical traders like us. Because now it still opens up the possibility for a bearish case scenario. Because if we went down deeper over here, it will eliminate one of the bearish case scenarios that I'm looking at. And it potentially becomes more bullish if we hold the zone. Right. So now, legends, now that we've discussed the structure, I just want to tell everyone that there's a lot that needs to happen before you can call for a bear market. We have massive support to the downside. This is an impulsive structure, and as long as you can hold the 786, which has the highest amount of volume inside of this entire range where the point of control is, that is a bullish bounce. If you bounce over there, there's a high chance that you're going to come and claim the high. Okay. So now that we've got that out the way, and now I can switch off the VRVP, and we can now look at something else. Right, legends, remember, also something that I want to highlight. Let's go open this live stream. If you'd like to come and trade Bitcoin, okay, I have been trading Bitcoin on weeks for the last couple of months, last 3-4 months. I have not had any issues, major issues trading Bitcoin on weeks. I know that some people say that they have issues trading some altcoins, especially if they are newly listed on weeks. But because I do most of my trading on Bitcoin anyways, I have not had any issues on weeks. right? They do have an amazing support team, and if you do have any issues, they will sort you out. They have a user protection fund. If you had a stop loss in place that didn't get hit or triggered, they will sort you out, okay? Right, but what I do like about Weeks is that you get that 50% cash back on a deposit of up to $2,000, which basically means if you deposit $2,000, you will get $1,000 cash back to trade with. If you deposit $1,000, you will get $500 to trade extra to trade with. Okay, and they also have the lowest fees, 0% maker fee and 25% discount on your taker fee. Okay, cool. And for these two exchanges that I do all of my day trading, all you need is an email and a password. Okay, and if you'd like to come and join our Legends trading community, there's the link here down in the description. And right, I've also got the CVD indicator that I often refer to and talk to over here. CVD indicator is, the link is here in the description if you want to go check it out and you want to start using CVD as part of your trading strategy. Okay, cool, Legends. Let me see where Weeks is crazy, didn't their BTC chart week? Weeks is crazy, didn't their BTC chart week to 100K today? Yes, I saw that and I told the team and they fixed it. It's done. And they did send out a message. I saw the Weeks team sent out a message saying that if anything happened to your funds and you got liquidated or whatever the case might be because of that week, they will refund you. I got confirmation that they will sort you out, right? So if anything bad happened to you, well, you know, don't you wish you were in a long, right? Because that week, I think, went to 100K. Okay, it had a week like this here to the upside that tapped 100K. So if you had a nice little juicy long there and you had a, you know, and you just sniped at your profits, okay, are you really going to say something to the Weeks team, or you're just going to keep those profits and keep quiet? But if you were in a short and you got liquidated and you didn't have a stop loss, whatever the case might be, they will refund you your cash. Okay, because of that scam week. It's not supposed to happen. I told the Weeks team when I saw that, and they told me, Dewald, don't worry, we have the user protection fund. If any of the users got impacted, just let them know that they need to log a ticket with us and fill out a form and we'll sort them out. Okay, cool. At the moment, I don't trade Bitcoin, too volatile and high pumps followed by large dumps. But I like to watch your live streams, Henry. Well, I, on the other hand, actually like volatility. There's nothing worse for a trader. Nothing worse for a trader. Because I actually posted a message inside of our Legends Pro community this morning where we were just doing this. And I posted a message saying, oh, what boring price action. I cannot trade that. It's not my style. If you force me and you put a gun to my head, I will most probably long the bottoms over here and short the tops and use 400x leverage just to try and make the moves worth it. And, but it's not my cup of tea. When we were going sideways like this, okay, I need volatility to successfully enter trades. I need this. That is where I shine. That is where most technical traders shine. Is the worst thing the market can give you is this. Okay, it just goes sideways. Volatility is where you make the money. Volatility is where you get the swing failure patterns from the 786 and you go and you claim the highs. You take your profit taking area. So, it just depends on whether you're investing or day trading. So from a day trading perspective, you want volatility. Maybe from a stability perspective, like the S&P 500, gold, and things that move slow like the dinosaurs. They have large market caps. It takes a lot to bring them up and down. The percentage moves, even if it looks like they're falling with 100%, they've actually just fallen 0.5%. So I get what you're saying. From an investment perspective, you want those dinosaur coins that has slow movement up and down. And right, anyways, let's get back into Dewald. Weeks is really bad. I know you get referral benefit, but please don't recommend it for your own gain. We are your community, only promote genuine thing. I am promoting a genuine thing over here. I'm not just promoting Weeks from a financial benefit. And if you guys had to see how little I get from you signing up and trading with the link, okay? So when let's just address the elephant here in the room, because I think you're asking a very important question that most probably another person is also thinking about. when I promote an affiliate link for an exchange that I use to trade with, okay, which I do, I've got money in Weeks, I've got money on Bluffin, I trade on 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽, I trade on 𝗖𝗍cie, all the exchanges down there. I've got money inside of it because I believe in diversifying my portfolio. If something happens to one exchange, it doesn't matter how much you trust in exchange, like what happened to FTX. I don't want to be in a position where I don't have money to trade with. But I do most of my day trading, all of my day trading inside of Weeks and Bluffin. And when you place a trade, that trading fee that you pay, so let's say you open up a trade and it says you've paid $1 or 50 cents to open the trade, I get a small percentage of that trading fee. It's very little, right? So there's no massive incentive for me where I'm rolling in the millions because you guys are trading with my affiliate links. I have to have hundreds of thousands of people trading with my exchange links for me to say I don't have to trade anymore. The reason I promote the affiliate links is because you support the channel. I get something in return for giving you my time here on YouTube, because I cannot trade while I'm giving a live stream. I could have not bring you the alpha, I could have not brought you the education, and I could have just traded by myself. Okay, so for my time, I'm asking people to support the channel as well, right? And it's a very small percentage that I get. It's you know, people have, I think, a big misconception about me promoting an affiliate link doesn't equal hundreds of thousands of dollars. Not by a long shot. Okay, I have done my research for Weeks. I have done my research for Bluffin. I have spoken to the CEO. I've spoken to the team. We have channels and communications open. I have tested out Weeks for many months before I even promoted it to you guys, because there was a lot of bugs on Weeks that I didn't like, and I said I will not promote Weeks to my community unless they fix this and they fix that, which they did. And then when I first started promoting Weeks, I positioned it as a testing exchange that I'm testing out. If you want to sign up, you can go and sign up, but I'm testing it out. And that went on for about a month where I was testing them out. And then I reached the phase where I told everyone, I'm happy now. I don't get my stop losses kick in. I can go 100x on a position. There's enough liquidity on Bitcoin. I'm really enjoying trading on the exchange. And this is where because people are always asking, Dewald, do you not have a non-KYC option? I can't use 𝗖𝗍cie. I can't use 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽, right? So that was a way for me to have Bluffin and Weeks here on the exchange. So I just want to address that elephant in the room, because Rahul, you're not the only person that's asked this question. And I'm not, hammering on you. I'm just saying that this is a question that people ask. Right? And I'm telling you now, I'm promoting Weeks because I'm trading on it and I haven't had any issues, right? But I do know when I started trading on 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽, when they just started, I started trading on 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽. When 𝗖𝗍cie launched, I started trading on 𝗖𝗍cie, and they had a lot of issues as well when they started out. Okay. I remember having stop losses on 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽 and on 𝗖𝗍cie that didn't get kicked in, or that didn't kick in. And I remember even some of my positions that I opened got liquidated on those exchanges, which are now trusted exchanges because they needed to mature. And I know that Weeks is going to just mature. Right, so, and that is basically the elephant that I wanted to address here in the room. So, legends, that is basically when I promote Weeks, I have tested it. I'm trading on it, okay? I'm not just pushing an exchange in your face purely for financial gain. Because if it was purely for financial gain, right, it's very little that I get, legends. It's very, very little that I get. But I do this, and I'm here on YouTube because it's a passion of mine to educate. I love to educate. I like to teach people what I've learned. I want you not to make the same mistakes that I made in the beginning when I started trading. And I want to help you fast track your trading career. Okay, hope I've addressed that issue as best as I can. Right, comparing to Bluffin, Weeks is really good, right? And that's the thing, and that's why I always say, guys, if you don't like Weeks, trade on Bluffin. If you don't like Bluffin, trade on Weeks. Everyone has their preference, and every exchange is slightly different. One exchange might have a feature that the other one doesn't have. The other one might have a feature, because I know that there's big differences between 𝗖𝗍cie and 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽. There's some things that I love about 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽, that 𝗖𝗍cie doesn't have. And then there's things that 𝗖𝗍cie has that Bybit doesn't have. So sometimes I also get a little bit frustrated, like, Bybit, why can't you do that? Or 𝗖𝗍cie, why can't you do what Bybit has? But I do know that these two exchanges also had a lot of issues when I started trading on them. Okay. But as they mature, they get better. They fix the bugs. It's any, you know, when you download an app for the first time, it has so many bugs, it's almost like it doesn't work. And then they release an update, and then they release another update, and then they release another update. And before you know it, there's no more bugs, and it's mature, it's stable, and right. So, but these two are exchanges where you only need an email and a password. So I do have Bybit, and I have large amounts of cash in Bybit. I do have 𝗖𝗍cie, and I trade on these two as well. But some people are saying, well, Dewald, I cannot do leverage trading with these two platforms. Okay, well, then I provide you with two other options that I personally use as well. Okay, so let's go. Personally, I love 𝗬𝗍cie. I also like 𝗬𝗍cie. I'm not sure why people don't like 𝗬𝗍cie, and they have an amazing support team. I've used the support channels, okay? Don't think for one moment that I get special access to the 𝗬𝗍cie exchange and therefore I don't get bugs and things like that. I sometimes also still get a bug, and then I send it to the 𝗬𝗍cie team via their support channel and say, hey guys, I picked this up, what do you think, can you fix it? And then I'll sometimes, you know, I'll get an email and they'll say, okay, the team is looking at it, we've put it on our development list, great enhancement, we appreciate the idea. Right, they have a user protection fund. I've done a full video here on 𝗬𝗍cie, by the way. If you haven't checked out what 𝗬𝗍cie is all about, right here on the tutorial section. Let's see. Right, here we go. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. Okay, 𝗬𝗍cie. I've done a full tutorial on 𝗬𝗍cie where I basically spoke to the CEO. They've given me some information, the spread, the user protection fund, why I'm trading on 𝗬𝗍cie, how it works. There might be some new features that I didn't include here, but it will give you a good start in terms of how to use 𝗬𝗍cie and start trading on 𝗬𝗍cie. Okay, if there are any issues that pop up that I'm going to experience, if something drastically pops up where I'm like, okay, no, this does not look good, okay, I will immediately come to you guys and say, guys, I know that you've all signed up with 𝗬𝗍cie, but this is what I found. Maybe, you know, we should look at another exchange. But I haven't found any critical issues where I need to tell you guys that. I'm really loving trading on 𝗬𝗍cie. Honestly, I love trading on 𝗬𝗍cie. Okay, cool. Let's go analyzing. Yes, all exchanges sucks when they are new. Yes, and SGS will know because SGS, Mr. SGS over here is a developer. I used to have an IT company as well, and we developed an app, and I know it is very buggy and the features aren't there yet, but you're getting there and you are pushing out updates and it gets more mature. And right, so Mr. Ish, you know, all exchanges sucks. Right, cool. So if you do have any issues with 𝗬𝗍cie, I encourage you to log an email or send them an email, use their support channels, and right, they will sort you out. Right, cool. Let's get back with the analysis over here. Legends, now, okay, this is now where the juicy alpha kicks in, right? This is the juicy alpha. We have now spoken about this scenario. Okay, so let's stick here on the daily time frame. The last time I spoke about this scenario, I got some really weird comments. I don't want to say nasty comments, but I got some really weird comments from people saying that you are smoking your socks, basically. I am batshit crazy, okay? But it is a valid scenario that has not been invalidated. Okay, this scenario is basically a let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I need to zoom out a little bit over here, and let's put on the super cycle. Right, I just quickly want to talk about this scenario over here, and I want to compare it to the bearish case scenario. Okay, because there is a bearish case scenario. This is the most bullish case scenario that I can think of at the moment. And then you have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let me just put them out there, and then you have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, basically what you have over here is, legends, I think it's just going to be easier for me to draw it out. What you are forming here on Bitcoin is a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And the deeper the correction goes, the better it confirms this 1, 2 that I've just highlighted. We've spoken about this one. Okay, the deeper it goes, the better for the double one or the triple 1, 2 over here. And we've had triple 1, 2s and double 1, 2s inside of this little consolidation. We've traded them, and you all see how bearish and how bullish those double 1, 2s and triple 1, 2s can get. Okay, so you get them all the time. They are very common. They often play out. So in the most bullish case scenario, you basically have a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and you're going to get a 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5 to the upside. This is the most bullish case scenario. Okay, you have the consolidation. It almost looks like a consolidation. You have the God wave to the upside, which almost looks like a straight line, and you have another consolidation. And that is basically your 1, 2s, and that is your 4, 5s. When you see this pattern, even on the 5-minute time frame, the 1-hour time frame, the 15-minute time frame, when you see this pattern and you see this consolidation that almost has a channel, and you see that massive pump to the upside, and it starts doing the exact same thing over here, you know that the end is close. This is where you start looking for short opportunities. Okay, and then if it's reversed, this is where you start looking for long opportunities. Right. And you can even see that now on the smaller time frames. So this is the most bullish case scenario that I have. What if this, okay, is forming the first wave inside of your third wave? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is the most bullish case scenario. This scenario increases in probabilities the further we drop. Now you might be saying, why, Dewald? Why does it increase in probabilities the further we drop? Because a 1, 2, your second wave, most common target is between the 50% and the 786. Ideally a little bit, 618 and 786. But because we've tapped the 0.5, it opens up the door for this scenario. So now let me go back here onto the 8-hour time frame and show you guys the conundrum. Okay, and why the market makers are playing with us. Because if I take a fib from this low to the high, okay, or even now from this low to the high, we are still at the 50%. Which tells me, if I look at this scenario, right over here, this scenario is still in play. It has not been invalidated. And you might be saying to yourself, okay, well, this looks great. We're still going up. Yes, we are still going up. We could definitely potentially still be going up, where you have formed a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. And now we're making the last number 4 to go and complete the 5. And by the way, here's a triple 1, 2 that I've just shown you on the daily time frame. Do you see how often they play out? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. So, and we have tapped the 0.5 Fibonacci, which is the maximum target for a fourth wave. And because we tapped the 0.5 Fibonacci, which is the maximum target for the fourth wave, basically it says that we are going to make one more high. So do you now see how the market makers very strategically bounced us on the 50% Fibonacci over here, not tapping the 0.618, because once you tap the 0.618, the scenario is invalidated. It means that this fifth wave is already in over here, and this one cannot be counted. So it was a double 1, 2, which is completed. And then this becomes now a finished impulse over here, and now you are creating a second wave to the downside, and potentially then the super cycle wave gains in probabilities. As soon as you tap the 0.618, this high, okay, lowers in probabilities, and we might get a much higher high. I hope that makes sense. So very soon, and this is something that I spoke about yesterday, and I said I'm going to take some time to explain to you guys today what I mean by I want the retracement to go lower. I want the retracement to go lower so that we can invalidate this scenario. And yes, it might look extremely bearish by invalidating the scenario, but it does open the possibility that we could get a much higher high than just this small little fifth wave here to the upside. Because as long as this level holds, there is a high chance that you can make another fifth wave at $120,000 and then we start a bear market. So short-term gains, okay, long-term not so good. Right, so this scenario is still valid because of where we bounced. If the bears can take more control over here, you can see that we are, we are chopping here by the trend line. And this is usually your fourth wave trend line over here, okay? Yeah, you made a fourth wave bounce on the trend and you made your orange 5. Now we're here at the trend, consolidating, chopping. If the bears can find control and break out over here, getting acceptance back above the trend, simple technical analysis over here, break that trend there. Okay, but the reason this level is interesting is we did not invalidate a fourth wave, but we also tapped. Okay, when you take the fib from this little pivot over here, the low point over here, we did at least tap the 50%. So now, okay, and this is what I find so interesting from the market makers, okay, because they never cease to amaze me, is that we have also tapped a 50% fib level that opens the door for potential super cycle. So now the question is, if price had to find strength over here and it goes and it claims the highs, we're not going to be sure whether that's going to be the high or whether price is going to continue to the upside. Because I can tell you guys now that if the correction continues to the downside and then we claim the all-time highs, we could be going much, much higher. There's a higher probability in moving higher. But if we successfully bounce over here and we go to all-time high territory, people are going to be like, 120K, okay, I'm out. And then we go to 200K. Maybe we go to 300K. Okay. Right. So that is basically the scenario that I wanted to discuss. And I just want to put a disclaimer in there. At no point am I calling for a super cycle. I am purely just highlighting the probabilities and the scenarios over here. The bullish case scenario, whether that's the fifth wave or a super cycle to the upside, still carries higher probability than a bear market because of how many levels to the downside we still have from a support perspective. Until we take this low at $48,790, okay, 673, excuse me. Until we take this low, right, there's no bear market. We have to take this low. Then we can talk about a bear market. And if you are speculating on a bear market from this point over here, I hope you did short this zone because, yes, you often get people, that's the bear market, it's the bear market. And, if you start calling for a bear market long enough, eventually you're going to be right. Okay, we get the bounce here to the upside. No, it's a bear market, it's a bear market. And then we go and we take the low. And then when we hit this low, then you are right. But you missed out on all of that. Okay. You can be a bear for as long as you want. At some point, you are going to be right. You can be a bull for as long as you want. At some point, you are going to be right. Right? But you're going to miss out on everything in between. Right, legends, remember to smash up that like button. Okay. For the education, for the alpha over here. And these are basically the scenarios that I'm looking at. Okay. So there is, okay, in summary, when I take a fib from the low to the high, because we tap the 50% Fibonacci, it opens up the door for one more high or a super cycle. If we did not tap the 50% and we bounced on the 0.382, I would have said there's a higher chance that we're going to fall from here. But now because we tapped the damn 50%, now there's a 50% chance we either make the high here or we can even go to $200,000. So this was actually a good thing, but it did open up a little bit of confusion, okay? Which also tells me that maybe this level will get defended so that we do not tap the 0.618. You know, there's a saying that says, be careful what you wish for because you might just get it. I would really want to see us tap the 0.618 before we claim the high, because that will give this scenario much lower probability. Much lower, okay? Nothing's ever impossible, and this is why it's just a game of probabilities, but it will give a $120,000 Bitcoin lower probability, and we will most likely maybe even get 170,000, 200,000, who knows, right? Super cycles can get absolutely insane. I don't know what that target is, but it could potentially go much higher than 125. Right, so that's a little bit of larger time frame analysis, okay? Still, I have to tell you guys that this still does not look impulsive. It looks awfully corrective. It really reminds me of this range over here, where everyone was calling for, it's the bear market, it's the bear market, it's the bear market, and it wasn't the bear market, right? We moved up. It feels like what's happening over here reminds me of this. Okay. Right. Cool. I think something that's also very interesting to me is that, and I think this is something I spoke about yesterday, but I just want to touch on it one more time, is that with this small little dump, if I'm here on the weekly time frame, okay, here on the weekly time frame, when I look at this, okay, it looks insignificant, okay, this looks insignificant, right? But the fear and greed index, this is not something, I can tell you guys now, when we were here, and when we were here, the fear was not 10. There was no extreme fear over here. The RSI, the weekly RSI was at the top over here. It was at the top, okay, both RSIs. And when we made these highs, the RSIs were at the top, the weekly RSIs. Okay, and there you formed the hidden bearish divergence between those two pivots. Higher highs, lower lows. The weekly RSIs were at the top, and we had extreme greed in these zones. So now when I look at this structure over here, the weekly RSI is at the bottom. We do have bearish divergence between these two pivots, but it's not the same. We have hidden bearish divergence, because I see a lot of people talk about this, the hidden bearish divergence, but it's not the same. The weekly RSI is at the bottom, which tells me that we could still expect momentum back to the upside. It's not exactly the same. Plus, we are in extreme fear and we have not even claimed the low. Extreme fear in the market, a bottomed out weekly RSI, and we are over here. That to me screams upwards momentum. Don't know about you. Even if we come down a little bit lower, that to me screams upwards momentum. I can just imagine where the fear and greed will be when we hit these levels. One, are we going to break records with the fear and greed index? Okay. When fear and greed is in extreme fear and you start hitting bullish bouncing zones, that's a level that you need to pay attention to. If we were in extreme greed over here and the weekly RSI was at the top, I would have said, okay, maybe this berry CVD is going to play out over here, but it's not. It's not the same. It really screams more upwards momentum. This structure still looks like it wants to go here to the upside. Okay, so just quickly wanted to touch on that as well. Again, yeah, in the live stream. Right. Cool. Legends, let me go through some comments and then we can carry on. Did some technical analysis here for an hour on the price of Bitcoin. Gave you guys some higher time frame scenarios. There's also another 2 scenarios that I want to go through over here. I'll just briefly touch on them. I won't spend a lot of time. And then also what I want to do tomorrow, in tomorrow's live stream, I want to do a full Elliot wave count on Ethereum and just share with you guys the scenarios that I still see on Ethereum. I think if Bitcoin can pull a rabbit out of its hat and start gaining upwards momentum, and maybe the bull market continues here to the upside, I do see, just from a high level perspective, I do see that we could potentially get between a $7,000 to a $10,000 ETH. It's not extremely, it's about a 10x, 7x year from now. But, you know, I want to go through that because there's also a bearish count. There's a massive bearish count on ETH, but there's also a bullish count on ETH. So, but I mean, Bitcoin needs to play ball, right? So, I mean, just quickly looking at ETH here from this structure, if I take a fib from the low to the high, you can see how it's trying to hold the 0.618. Can you guys see this? And now the question is, you know, when you see this, and you have tapped this range multiple times, one of two things are going to happen, okay? It's always one of two things. Resistance, resistance, support, 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 support. So it either needs to flip and bounce, okay, where it's not managing to break the floor, or it's going to whoop, fall down, right? And then it needs to find support somewhere and now face this resistance again and try and break through and try and break through. And maybe when we break through, we can do an RS flip again. Okay, but for now, based on the price action that we have today, it's holding the zone at the 0.618. And you can see how beautiful this zone has been holding as support over here. Okay, and usually support zones are usually best buying zones, by the way, right? Support is where you're supposed to buy. Resistance is where you're supposed to sell, right? Cool, so that's just a little bit of quick analysis there on ETH. Dominance, not doing much here on dominance, right? I was looking at, okay, cool. We can go through that now. Right, cool. Just come in. Are you looking at shorts now? Looking at shorts. Let's go here back onto the 15-minute time frame. I have discussed all the trading scenarios, okay, during the first couple of minutes of the live stream. I think first 20 minutes of the live stream, I've gone through the areas where I will be looking for shorts. I'm not going to go and repeat myself over here. So just rewatch or rewind or finish the stream and then rewind, and then you can go and see the opportunities. 102 first before going to 72 golden pocket. I would like, well, yeah, Anthony, I would love that, right? But we might not get it. And I get what you're saying, okay, is because you still want to create that fake out for the bulls, right? You still want to create that fake out for the bulls, and you're still creating that macro lower high, and then you come back down. Okay, now I get what you're saying. You're basically claiming the high, but you know, you also have to consider once you claim this high, you're starting to change market structure. So it's going to be an interesting zone. It all depends on how the structure is going to form over here. Okay, and this is what I want to discuss quickly over here, legends, is that, and this is actually something that I also, myself and Andy had a chat about this morning, counting the structures. What is this? Okay. Can we get continuation here to the upside? So, legends, the first structure that I want to discuss is this one. Bam. This one. Okay. Where this was the high, and we have finished the corrective structure at the 1.236. It's done. And now the question is, okay, well, this low now needs to be protected. We're not allowed to take the low. If this corrective structure is done, you're not allowed to take the low again. Now, and this is the question I got yesterday. A lot of people asked me yesterday, well, Dewald, let's entertain this scenario, because there is another scenario as well. If the corrective structure is done, how can we continue impulses to the upside if we only made a 3-wave structure? Because you have to create 5 waves for impulses. Okay, Anthony, sorry, man. I forgot to take your comment out there. And the answer is simple, legends. Well, okay, not so simple for some people, but I need to just do a little bit of education. You get a normal impulse. Okay, and let me just change it over here, because I love to educate. This is why I'm doing this. I really love educating. Cycle. No, man, I want the numbers. There we go. Let's do the numbers. Let's make them nice and green so they're nice and bright and everyone can see them. Okay, that is a normal impulse. And this is the first thing that people learn in Elliott wave theory. Okay, it has rules. The second wave loves this 50% to 786 FIP retracement. Your fourth wave is not allowed to go into the territory of your first wave. Okay, your first wave and your fifth wave are sometimes the same length. Your third wave is not allowed to be the shortest. So those are your rules for an impulsive structure. And a lot of people learn this the first when they learn Elliott wave theory. But it doesn't stop there. It gets a little bit more complicated because, you know, then I start getting questions. Dewald, how are you counting this as a fourth wave, but it went into the territory of 1? Okay, well, this is where it now gets a little bit more interesting. You get a, let's do this. You get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's just do that. Right, that is, or can like to be, it's usually like this. Okay, and then you have your trends, and you have your trend. Okay, that is what we call in Elliott wave theory a contracting diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All the waves are allowed to overlap. You want them to overlap. They have to be contracting. This is the most common structure. Okay, your third wave is still not allowed to be the shortest. Still the same rules apply. And, you know, you still have your rules from a Fibonacci perspective. Ideally, it retraces between the 50%, 786. Fourth wave, not allowed to tap the 0.618. You know, you guys get the picture. Okay, right. But it's contracting. And then, okay, I want to focus on this structure over here. There's two ways in which this structure can form. It can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Three-wave corrective structure in 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Three-wave corrective structure in 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If number 1 is a 5-wave structure, number 3 and number 5 has to be 5-wave structures. If number 1 makes a 3-wave structure, okay, all of your 3 and your 5 and your corrective structures has to be 3-wave structures. So looking at this scenario where I can just clean it up and take it out the way, okay, there's a chance. Now when you look at this structure, let's go into the 1 hour time frame. Okay, I can take this FIP out the way. Because a lot of people are saying, but we did not make 5 waves. It's not bullish. We are going to claim the low and go to lower levels. Yes, I will get to that scenario. But we have a 3-wave structure. What if this is a 3-wave 1? This is now a 3-wave 2, A, B, C, which is done. This is now a 2. And now we're going to go back up. 1, 2, 3. And you make a 3. And you go back down. And you make a 4. And you form that contracting diagonal. Okay, and this is basically the scenario that I'm looking at right now. Is, where did I put it? The only, and I actually called this only Elliott wave bullish scenario for us not to take the low. This is the only scenario we have. The only one, the only bullish scenario is this one. Okay, I can now move that. So because the structure started with an A, B, C, A, B, C, which is actually over there. And let me move this because we didn't have that low yet. Now what you want to see is another A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you go large. Then you go back down for a larger corrective structure. You make a higher low. When you take a FIP from the low to the high, it needs to bounce maximum target 786, and you continue the bull market to the upside. The one thing I do want to highlight with this scenario, it is very, very early, okay, to call for this scenario. very early. I only generally like to talk about these scenarios or about a contracting move once. Okay, let me just put this in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, once the fourth wave is in, this scenario gains in probabilities. We only hear, legends, we only hear right now. Okay, there's still a lot that can happen to invalidate this structure. Okay, but I just wanted to highlight it to say that, well, if there is a scenario that can take us back to all-time highs, it's this one. But it has to follow the rules. And it's still very early to call for this scenario. Okay, for now, the probabilities are still higher to come and claim the low. But we need to keep an eye on this scenario. What if we do not? What if we go and claim the highs and then we fall back down, make a lower high, higher low? We go back. You know, if you can start drawing a little bit of a contracting diagonal over here, then there's a high chance that this is going to be an amazing buy-up zone. This is going to be that retracement is where you want to buy once you see this structure unfold in front of your eyes. Okay, so still very early to call for this scenario, and for now the bearish case scenario still carries higher probability. Okay, because now, okay, I based this scenario if this is finished. Then we have to somehow find upwards momentum, and that is the only structure that can give us upwards momentum because we started with a three-wave structure. Right, but then there's a little bit of a more bearish case scenario, which is the large WXY, and where I can take this one out the way. And I'm not sure if Andy also spoke about this in his live stream, but this is a similar scenario that we are both looking at, is that the W is only in now. Okay, the X is either in or it still needs to form and finish over here in another 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, whatever the case might be. So that scenario, I can't remember who mentioned it, that says maybe to 102k, you know, maybe to 102k. Yes, we can still go here to 102k and still take the lows, where you are forming a larger W, X, Y. And what is interesting about this scenario, okay, is that the reason I discussed the super cycle idea with everyone over here is when you look at the scenario and you look at the targets for the scenario, at the moment, we only have this high. If we create another high and fall to the downside, I will simply move the X and I will adjust my Fibonacci targets. But for now, if I zoom into the 4-hour time frame, it's the targets that are very interesting. Okay, again, remember the scenarios that I've discussed from a bullish case perspective? When I take a fib from the low to the high, you look at all that massive volume that is inside of this zone. Okay, so the 0.618 is a Y wave target. The 1-to-1 extension in confluence with the 0.786 is a very common Y wave target, which is in alignment with the point of control of the entire range, okay, that we formed here to the left, right? So very, very interesting zone. The 1.236 is also a Y wave target, but it becomes dangerous when you start tapping the 0.88 because a 1, 2 here to the downside, okay, it starts decreasing in probabilities. Then we're going to start talking about bear markets when we hit this level, right? Very dangerous level to hit. So it's just interesting that if we do form a larger corrective structure, okay, and I'm calling it corrective for a very good reason, okay, this is the zone where you can get the bounce between the 0.618 and the 1-to-1 extension. Okay, so maybe we will get this scenario and then it will invalidate that little bearish high that we're going to make. Okay, maybe we are going to go into a super cycle, but the super cycle will only start gaining in probabilities when we get down here. Then the super cycle actually starts gaining probabilities. Okay, because for now, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 still has a probability because of where we bounced. If the corrective structure can continue to the downside, it invalidates this little high over here and we could potentially go higher. Right, cool, legends. That's basically what I wanted to share with everyone today. So I've tried my best to put the puzzle pieces together so that you can see, from the macro time frame perspective, from the corrective structure, how does all the puzzle pieces fit together? And based on the price action that we see today, okay, what are the probabilities? So it's never easy. The low could be in. There's a count for this corrective structure where the low could definitely be in. We have formed a bearish three-wave structure here to the upside. Okay, this kind of reminds me, and I mean, I could be completely wrong, when we made this structure. Do you guys remember when we made this structure? Everyone said it's a three-wave structure. 1, 2, 3. Where's the fifth wave? Everyone was like, where the hell is the fifth wave? Where's the 4 and the 5? And look at what happened. Okay, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying, it happened before where we made a three-wave structure, and look at where we are now. Okay, so, I mean, if the low is protected, then, the bulls have a chance. The bulls does have a chance. Okay, there is some nice green volume. We have to acknowledge that there is some nice green volume kicking in. I don't care whether that was the fake news or Donald Trump news and it was a C wave to the upside. The charts is technically telling me that buying pressure is starting to kick in at these levels. The buying pressure is starting to supersede the selling pressure. Okay. So there's a chance for the bulls to still move higher from where we are right now. There's a chance. But I have discussed the bearish case scenarios as well. Cool, legends. Remember to smash up that like button for the education, for the alpha over here. And right, let's go through some comments. Going to 63K should be impossible. It cannot compress so much liquidity. Yeah, I mean, impossible is a dangerous word to use in the crypto space or in any trading environment. But I mean, I hear what you are saying. 63,000. is all the way down here, right? It's there by the 786. I don't know if we're going to get there, right, legends? I think something really bad needs to happen for price to get there. I think this is the zone. If Bitcoin needs to find the bottom, this needs to be the zone. Okay, so maybe it goes up and comes back down and it claims the lows and it swing failures from the lows. But I think this needs to be the zone over here. I don't know if something so terribly bad is going to happen in the space that it's just going to send it here to the downside. But I mean, it is a possibility and the scenario has not been invalidated. Okay. Good evening, Dewald and community. Welcome, BTC boss. If ETH on log scale saw the same zone, 1.6 is around 618 of the whole swing 7. Yes, I will go through Dark Striker. I will go through ETH tomorrow in my live stream in a little bit more detail. I'm just not going to have time to do proper Elliot wave counts on ETH today. Because I mean, it took me over an hour and a half just to do it here on Bitcoin, right? Okay, can you please check CVD now? Let's go and have a look at CVD. Why not for the legends over here? It's still strong. It's still forming bullish CVD. It can still continue here to the upside. Okay, it's still strong. I don't see any bearish CVD, right? And you might be asking, well, Dewald, why does it look strong? Okay. So if I take, let's go to the 3-minute time frame. I love CVD on very small time frames. It's way more accurate and trustworthy. The smaller the time frame, the better. 3 minutes, not really lower than 3 minutes. Okay, but you can see, look at this pivot, and CVD is making a lower low. This pivot is over here, and price is making higher lows. So you have bullish CVD confirming that you claim the high. It comes back down, maybe it makes more bullish CVD. Okay, it's going to claim the high. So as long as there's local bullish CVD forming, it's going to claim the high every time until you start seeing local bearish CVD, and then maybe it's going to start turning around. Okay, so for now, it looks like it can still continue. And if it does make a little bit of a deeper correction here to the downside, I can just imagine that there will be more bullish CVD building up, and then it's going to go and claim that high again. Okay. But I still see strength. There's strength. There's strength. not so much in yellow, but you have a double confirmation. So CVD on the smaller time frame looks like momentum can still continue here to the upside. But like I said, legends, this is not a zone where I long. Okay, this was the long. That was the long. Even the breakout, that is the long. Not here. Okay, this is not where you long. If you do have a successful strategy to long over there, by all means, okay, you go ahead and do that. But it's not my trading style. Okay, yeah, Dewald. Okay, cool. Buy indicators only for BTC or other coins, because in XRP charts, buy cycle was on in. Oh, right, the buy cycle indicator. Yes, I have spoken about the buy cycle indicator as well, okay? And that's just another reason why I think we could potentially get a super cycle, because otherwise this time is going to be different. There's no beating around the bush. Eric, you make a very valid point, okay? If you look at this chart, BLX, and I go onto the weekly time frame, and I go to the logarithmic scale, okay? Since the inception of Bitcoin, this model has not been broken. Okay, let's just put that out there. This is just data. It's not built on emotion or what people feel like. And so based on this model, so there's two ways. Based on this model, it states that the bull market is not over. We still need more time for the bull market. Okay, and then interestingly enough, when you start talking about the pi cycle indicator, so let me switch off all the noise and only switch on that one indicator, right? Let's go pi cycle, switch it on. This is another reason, or to give us another reason why we could potentially go into a super cycle. And I can tell you guys now, no one is expecting a super cycle. I am most probably the only person that is even thinking about a super cycle or mentioning the probabilities that we could get a super cycle, right? But I just have to present to you what the data is telling me. The data is telling me, and you can go and do this by yourself. Go to the BLX liquid index Bitcoin chart and go do it yourself, right? I'm just showing you what the charts are showing me. Every single bull cycle, okay, we have broken out from the moving averages. And once you've broken out from the moving averages, the red and the green line, and traded above, it crossed. The moving averages crossed, and that flashes the top. And it was the top who went into a mini bear cycle over there. And then again, the same thing happened. You trade above the moving averages, it flashes the indicator, and you go into a bear market. Okay, every single time it's been accurate so far. Yeah, again, right? A point in time comes where the moving averages starts moving together and it crosses, and price trades outside above the moving averages, and it flashes the indicator. So far, this indicator has not failed Bitcoin once. Okay, so, but you guys get the point. Every single time, you've done exactly the same thing. And now look at where we are. So if you're looking for a reason why we could potentially still have a super cycle, purely based on this indicator, okay, look at where the moving averages are. So you could play out a what-if scenario. What if the moving averages still needs to cross, okay? It still needs to cross over there. Price still needs to trade above. And once the cross happens, that indicator is going to flash and say, guys, this is the top, right? But just purely from my mouse and where price, you know, you're starting to hit 400K here. You're starting to hit over 300K over here. So this potentially tells us, if it's going to play out like it played out during every single cycle, that Bitcoin still needs to go higher. Even if it gets a little bit of a correction here to the downside, it still needs to go higher. So purely based on the buy cycle indicator and the technical analysis that I've shown you on Bitcoin, we could potentially still get the super cycle here to the upside, so that it plays out exactly like it played out every single time. If, you know, and now one could even use the argument that, okay, if it does not play out and we start going into a bear market, and we make one more high and we fall down and we go into a bear market, the pi cycle indicator for the first time it's broken. It's broken. It hasn't played out. For the first time since the inception of Bitcoin, it has not played out. Okay. So it's another way to look at the market, right? And but I mean, you know, even legends, something that I'm spotting over here is, yeah, I mean, you want to get acceptance back above, okay? But I mean, there's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wave 1, ABC, wave 2. There's a high chance, even if we go into a bear market, you are going to form a higher low, because this is a 5-wave impulsive structures. After a 5-wave impulsive structure, you get a corrective structure that makes a higher low. I mean, it's going to come down very far, but then you could go back up in a third wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So maybe we are going to go into a, you know, maybe there's a case to be argued that we're going to go into a mini bear, you know, a mini bear market over here, but then we're going to get an explosion like no one has seen an explosion. So maybe price doesn't have to dance around here. Maybe, you know, there's an argument to be made. It's just going to be very overextended from a timing perspective. Okay, we're going to invalidate the time from you know, this scenario that I've just shown you guys over here. We're going to invalidate this scenario. There we go. Okay, if we start a bear market from where we are right now and we start falling, then this cycle has been invalidated from a timing perspective. So it's just data at the end of the day. But anyways, cool, legends. Still, Bitcoin is pumping here to the upside. Whoever caught the long here at the 786, well done. I know that a lot of pro members were watching that level like a hawk when you take a fib from the low to the high. Beautiful swing failure pattern from the 786. Okay, and now it looks like we're gunning for the highs over here. If you'd like the trading setups and potential shorting opportunities that I'm watching over here, right, you need to go back to the beginning of this live stream to go and check it out. I'm not going to repeat myself. Legends, I have unfortunately run out of time. And thank you so much for joining. Thanks for smashing up that like button. And right, legends, have yourselves a great evening. And until the next one, cheers for now.